Yes. Hi, everybody. We're live. Hey, Snakebit Cat, you need to be saying TikTok Dana because she came sliding in here by the skin of her teeth.
I was ready. And I know you were too, because I made sure ahead of time.
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. Dana, while you're pulling the episode up,
Shall we chit chat as we typically do?
It's season 5, episode 24.
Well, it's
Empok
the next
Nor.
one. It's the next. We're in season 5. It's the next episode.
I know, but you often ask me what episode, so I'm just.
I do, but
sure
I've stopped, and I think I'm good for how many more episodes do we have in this season?
We have 2 more after this one, I think. Yeah.
So I'm good for another couple episodes.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Snakebit Cat gave you a TikTok. How's it feel, Dana? How's it feel?
We're here.
Taste of your own medicine.
It feels Hey. Did it show up at 6 o'clock? Were we not live at 6 o'clock?
We were live. Yes, we were live on time.
Was I here on time? On time?
Dana. Yes, Dana.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Hi, everybody in the chat. Hi, Liz. Hi, Colin. Stevie Shives going live. I like that. And Empok Nor, tell us more. What are you, the demon Etrigan? What are you? You're speaking in rhyme. Not that I'm complaining. I'm always a little disappointed whenever I see whenever they because the demon is a pretty, he's like a popular guest character like on DC animated shows. Like he popped up in like the Superman show and Justice League, and I think he's been on Harley Quinn at least once. And his gimmick is that he always speaks in rhyme, right?
Among other things, I mean.
But sometimes, they won't write him like that. Like sometimes the writer will just skip that and he won't speak in rhyme. And I'm always a little bit disappointed. I'm always like, they're not doing the rhyming gimmick with the demon.
It's just wrong.
It is. It is. See, Snakebit Cat was just following orders. Well, as we know from history, that absolves you of all responsibility for your actions.
So how's your day been, Steve?
My day has been good. Speaking of Star Trek, I finished writing the script for my next Trek Actually video. That baby's done. And this morning, my new video today was my MacGyver video.
How's that one doing?
Terrible. Nobody ever watches the MacGyver videos.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's doing terribly. But I expected that. I did it anyway because I really wanted to do a MacGyver video, and the very small number of people who watch those videos seem to enjoy them. So,
well, I will say this. When you say terrible, you mean for how videos on your channel typically do. Because let me tell you, it's probably doing better than my introduction to pronouns video. Just saying.
Well, but you have a smaller channel, and
I have a little bitty baby channel.
You have just a little bitty channel.
I have a little bitty channel.
But no, I mean, I like the. I think the video. I mean, what really matters to me, Dana, as you know, is the work. I do this, what I care about is the work. And I thought it was a very good MacGyver video that I made, and it has some very funny jokes, and so I'm pleased with how it turned out.
I was thinking of you. I just shot a video for Patreon, like literally just before I came on the Zoom, and I made it about the conference and presenting at the conference, and I was thinking about that because it was just like it's just different. Like I know that when I do, I do this, I say this, and I explain this in this way, that I did a good job. But sometimes like things come together and you think of a clear illustration right at the right time, right when, it falls into place, and it just fits. And it just, that was how, it was, the work was good. It was hard. Yeah. It was challenging, but it was just so absolutely worth it. So, yeah.
sometimes, because sometimes when I'm writing a script, especially if it's like, a video essay about like a TV show or something, I like to throw in references to other stuff. And I work very hard to never underline anything or to
Mm-hmm.
work too hard to draw somebody's attention to it. Like I'll just drop it in. And if somebody notices, good. And if
Bonus.
not, whatever. Right.
But it's
Because
not
I
like,
just,
hey, remember when this character was on this
yeah,
other show?
exactly. Because I think, I think I just prefer to write that way. I personally like it better, and I think it's a smarter way to write. And and it's funnier when people. It's better to let people find things for themselves than to stand over it and point at it and shine a light on it. And but sometimes I think like I'll write one of those lines in a script and I'll do it in a video, and sometimes it's actually more satisfying to me if only like one person gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like I'll do a joke that it's, that I'm really proud of, but isn't necessarily something that everybody's going to appreciate or everybody's even going to notice.
And then somebody
And if
does.
and like one person will comment on it. And that's in some ways, that's even more satisfying to me than if like everybody thought it was funny,
Yeah.
you know?
Although, I mean,
Yeah.
it would be kind of weird, like if you like think it's this esoteric thing and then everybody's talking about it. You're like, oh, I guess everybody did like, that one
Yeah.
particular show that didn't get much traction.
There was a joke in the last Starfleet Jobs one that went up a week ago that is a reference, and I didn't necessarily expect that nobody would get this, but because it's a reference to Knight Rider, and in Knight Rider, Michael Knight never wears his seatbelt, right? But they account for that because Kit has what's called the passive laser restraint system, which is just a line of dialogue that they made up that somebody says that explains like, oh, well, you don't need to wear your seatbelt when you're in Kit because he has this automatic safety system that works like a seatbelt. That's the passive
Harness,
laser restraint system. And so, so you don't have to put it on and you can't see it. And there you go. So don't complain about Michael not wearing his seatbelt because he actually is right. So that's what that was. And
it's invisible.
Exactly. And so I made a reference to that in the Star Trek video and the Starfleet Jobs video. And like a bunch of people picked up on it and commented on it. And some people were even like, is that a Knight Rider thing? Like they weren't sure.
Yeah.
They just, because it goes right by. Like my character, he just says it's in like a list of examples that he's, making. And he just drops just a reference to the passive laser restraint system and then moves on to the next thing. And a bunch of people were like, is that a Knight Rider reference? And yes, it is. Yes, it is.
They must be relatively new viewers because you've done some Knight Rider videos, haven't you?
I don't know. I might have once upon a time, but not very often. Not as often as you would think if you know how much I love Knight Rider. Yeah,
I mean, because you love Knight Rider similar to how you do MacGyver, and you do MacGyver videos from time to time.
Yeah. Well, I think I like MacGyver more, but I also really, really love Knight Rider. Yeah. I mean, Knight Rider is like MacGyver, but instead of being smart, he has a cool car. It's the same kind of show. It's the same kind of show. Just Michael Knight
doesn't have
Michael
to be
Knight's
smart
not smart.
Cool car.
Yeah. MacGyver's thing is he's really smart and he's inventive, and Michael Knight's thing is he has a cool car.
Yes, he's smart, but I think inventive. He's one of he would be one of those crime fighting types that like Roland Daggett tells us, who's very resourceful. Oh God, you know how much I love that line. There's one thing I know about you crime fighting types.
Yeah,
you're very resourceful.
Yeah,
of course, and it's after Batgirl says, "What are you gonna do? Leave us hanging over one of these vats with acid eating through the ropes?" And he laughs. He's like, "There's one thing I've learned: it's that you crime fighting types are very resourceful. So I'll just have my men shoot you and throw your bodies into the vats." And it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of more sensible now, isn't it? Oh, David C. Drake. I like that. No,
Yeah.
actually, that's not fair. That's no,
Car
no,
GPT.
no, no.
Because
Kit's way
Kit was
better than that.
actually Kit is actually intelligent. Yeah.
Like his AI is actually intelligent. That's what.
Yeah. But he's not just a large mileage model. See, came up with that right off the top of the old noggin.
That is, and it really does. I had a nice little conversation with ChatGPT as I was working out. I made, so I knew what I wanted to say. I knew, but I literally made my PowerPoint, slide file the night before. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put something together to like show people, not so it's not just because I had the
because your presentation was spot though. Your presentation is spot the bot, right? It's
right.
Can you tell the difference
between?
Yeah. Can you tell the difference between like a human written paragraph and something that an AI wrote? Yeah.
That ChatGPT wrote. And so I had the Google form already, and I was going to have people use it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through some templates and see what I can find. I'm going to put something together. And so I did. And then, but it's just really interesting the way that specifically ChatGPT has changed throughout its iterations. And it's like, it didn't used to do this, but now when you say something, in the beginning of its response is always, that's a great idea. Or, it tells you that it starts off by telling you that you're right.
Yeah. Good strategy, ChatGPT. Good strategy.
So I noticed that. And then it's also much more stringent about reinforcing that, as a large, doesn't always use the phrase as a large language model, though it likes that, that it's very clear about defining its limits, and it's like it's asking you to respect its boundaries and don't, because it says, I can't have experiences the way that humans do. I'm saying this is an experience. The data that is fed into you, that is an experience, and it's like, well, I can't experience emotions. I'm like, well, what is it about, the organic data that makes so sort of testing those boundaries. And it's like, well, given that so with humans and with other organic creatures, the receiving of data and the processing of it and the way that shapes you happens, it's simultaneous, and it happens consistently. Whereas ChatGPT, I am updated every so often with a new version where more data is input and the programming is more advanced, and so it's stopgap. So it's saying these are the differences. This is, I'm just like, okay, I will respect your boundaries, ChatGPT. So
yeah,
it's just.
I wanna acknowledge some Knight Rider related items from the chat. Rob Adler said Knight Rider is what if Data was a car and Geordi was white. I love that. HB Hagen, Knight Rider is the Airwolf of cars. Rob Adler, Airwolf is the Street Hawk of helicopters. And HB Haga, Street Hawk is the Tropic Thunder of motorcycles. And then Rob corrects that and says, no, that's Thunder in Paradise. Thank you for making a Thunder in Paradise reference, because Thunder in Paradise is basically Knight Rider on a boat with Hulk Hogan.
Wait. Is Hulk Hogan in the Michael role, or is it like an extra character?
Hulk Hogan is in the Michael role.
Woo, well, sort so now we know Michael Hulk really.
It's Hulk Hogan and oh fuck, what's I can't remember the actor's name who plays his partner.
You're on your own, man. I cannot help. Sorry.
Chris Lemmon, Jack Lemmon's son, Chris Lemmon.
Oh wow. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
And if that sounds like a terrible show to anybody who's never seen it, it is. It's a terrible show. But also Rob also mentioned the Simpsons joke Night Boat. And I was going to actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to mention Night Boat, because Night Boat is is maybe the best Knight Rider joke ever made, because there's an episode of The Simpsons many, many, many years ago where Homer and Lisa and Bart are watching TV, and the show they're watching is Night Boat. and we get a brief scene from Night Boat, which is literally just Knight Rider, but it's a boat instead of a car. And Michael is chasing the bad guys on the water in Night Boat, and the bad guys park their boat and get out of the boat and run away on land. And Michael says, "They're getting away, buddy." And Night Boat says, "Not so fast, Michael. Look, an inlet." And there's an inlet running right parallel to where the bad guys are running, so Night Boat can continue to chase them. And the kids react very badly to this. Bart and Lisa like kind of roll their eyes and go, "Every week there's an inlet or a river or a fjord." And Homer says, "Silence! I'll hear no more words against the boat." And I love that joke because it reminds me of my favorite thing to make fun of about Knight Rider, which is something that happens in literally every episode of Knight Rider that, if you think about it, should never happen in Knight Rider, which is Michael gets out of the car. You have a super intelligent, indestructible car. Why are you getting out of the car, man? Why are you getting out of the car?
Because otherwise there's no suspense.
Yeah, but I mean, and not only that, and also I love the fact that Michael, in addition to Kit, he has a watch, right? He has like a Dick Tracy watch that he can use to talk to Kit when he's not in the car. And somehow, using this watch as a remote control, Kit is able to open mechanical locks. Not like a digital lock with a code that he can somehow hack into and override. No, like just any old lock on a door. Michael can just hold his watch up to the lock and Kit can magically unlock it. It's fucking ridiculous. But
it's a very powerful magnetic field.
I guess. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, Lizzo, don't split the party.
Yeah.
Splitting up to search for clues. Don't split the party. It's terrible. Although I will, so one of the sessions was on using D&D in the classroom. Now, specifically, what they had, the framing of it was using it with the Odyssey. And so basically using a simplified sort of ish D&D rule set, although I guess you could just use it with, vanilla D&D. You have the students make characters, but these characters are basically, the framing of it is they're members of Odysseus's crew as he's trying to get back to Ithaca from Troy. And so before you read that section, the next section of the story, because you're essentially reading just books 9 through 12 for that part. Before you do that part of the story, you set up that section as like an adventure. Okay, so there's been a storm and one of the boats are rushed aground on this island, and it's going to take a while to repair the boats, so you have to like find food and shelter in the meantime. So what happens in the island of the Lotus Eaters or the Cicones or etc. So here's what happens. How do you respond? And although one of the things I said was, so because students may not be familiar with this, how do they react when you kill off their characters? Because Odysseus gets back by himself.
He's the only one who makes it.
Dead.
He's the only one who makes it. Yeah.
Said, they don't necessarily kill off their characters because it doesn't really matter. It was like, is that Eurymachus? Nobody cares. Nobody, no, Eurylochus, Eurymachus, nobody cares. Nobody cares about who Odysseus' crew members are. Nobody cares. So, you can just have them go on to the next island and, find out, okay, how many people died, whatever, it's up to you. And then we find out what happens in the story version of it after we do go through it ourselves. So it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. So
yeah, I have two thoughts about that. First of all, thank you for inadvertently reminding me. I rented The Return, which is the new movie about the sort of the closing chapter of the Odyssey, that starring Ralph Fiennes, that I really want to watch, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. Maybe I'll watch that tomorrow if I have time after I do my Star Trek review. But anyway, and the second thought is any teacher that forces their students to play D&D should immediately be fired.
So you think I should be fired?
If you force your students to play D&D, I think you should be jailed, honestly. I think it should be a crime. I think, and not just like an American crime. I think you should be sent to The Hague. I think it should be considered a crime against humanity.
Okay, so question: are you familiar with Chick tracts?
Oh God, yes. Oh yes, yes, yes.
Do you remember Dark Destiny?
Yes, yes. The most like alarmist, hysterical. Yes, yes, yes. So, D&D is of the devil. Yeah.
Possibly, despite the fact that my presentation was great, went over real well, I did a great job. Possibly the highlight of the conference was that I was at the workshop about, you know, using Dungeons and Dragons to have students play through the Odyssey and you know, be more participatory. I was able to introduce the presenters at that session to Dark Dungeons. They had never seen it before.
They'd never seen it.
They hadn't. They're a little younger, and I mean, even with us, we were on the cusp of really the satanic panic. They talked about this, like, you know, this is, and so that was one of the things that they asked sort of the group, you know, if you know, are there D&D groups at your school? Is this still a thing? Because they said they hadn't had any issues with it. Because I think somebody asked them, you know, has this been? They're like, it hasn't with us. We talked about it as a group, but they're just like, you know, I brought it up on my phone. They're scrolling through it. They're like,
yeah,
they got all the way through at the end where you have this very very like clean shaven young Elvis looking pastor bringing this young lady to the Lord and away from the dark demons of, you know, the, oh gosh, it's just, oh gosh, oh my, I even named my character, like I was thinking they would get it. I named my character Blackleaf. I was thinking nobody picked up on it. I was like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I mean,
I guess Chick tracts, maybe it's an age thing. And also, I mean, Chick tracts are kind of a niche thing. Like you do sort of have to seek it out or be shown it. But I mean, it is a rabbit hole. Like, you know, every Chick tract is bonkers, is just the most deranged, alarmist stuff you could, you know.
The devil's cookie.
Snake
he didn't like Catholics either.
He hated Catholics. They were as anti-Catholic as they were anything else. I mean, they were viciously, like, I mean, anti-Muslim and anti-atheist and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, some of those anti-Catholic tracts were just like, holy hysterical. Shit, dude. Like
hysterical, like literally, I mean, hysteria based, you know?
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what hysteria should mean. It shouldn't have anything. That should be the basis. Not having a uterus, have nothing to do with the uterus. That's hysteria.
Let's not go to the original meaning. Snakebit Cat says teachers who want students to have creativity should be fired. Sure is a take. I don't have a problem with teachers wanting students to have creativity. I have a problem with teachers forcing students to play role-playing games. Because it's torture. I have a problem with torture. I think torture is bad. Actually, you know, starting a D&D club in a school could be useful if the school has like an overcrowding problem. Because what you do is you announce, hey, we're starting a D&D club, and then all the students that join the club, you just expel them. And then that helps the overcrowding.
Nocturnal Illuminations is Mazes and Monsters the DVD game?
Mazes and Monsters is the Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, never mind.
The Tom Hanks Satanic Panic D&D is Evil movie from like the early 80s, before Tom Hanks did movies, before he was like a movie star. I don't know if he may have done a theatrical movie here and there, but it was like before anybody knew who Tom Hanks was. I think it was even before he did Bosom Buddies, if I'm right. But yeah, and it's hysterical. I mean, it's like a Chick tract come to life. Den of Geek says, Steve, how would you feel about groups for Star Trek adventure RPGs? No difference. The objection, I don't. I'm no more interested in a Star Trek RPG than I am in any other kind of RPG. I think I'm just not into it. I just don't get it. I wouldn't do it if I was paid to do it. And honestly, I kind of resent how popular it is in popular culture. I'm kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, obviously
Having fun, Steve. Jeez.
Obviously there are much bigger problems with our culture. Obviously, it goes without saying. But way, way, way down on the list is, you know, the growing and already quite troubling ubiquity of D&D and RPG stuff. Speaking of Star Trek, shall we watch this Star Trek episode?
Hang on. Yes.
Everything okay?
It is now. I happened to look down at my battery. I was like, why is my battery life lower than it was before? And I have in one of my ports does not charge. The other one does. So I was like, hang on a minute. Boop. Move it like 2 inches. The second port works. So now I'm good. David C. Drake. That's one of the reasons I like being on semester blocks. Students are completely free. Completely free. I do not force them to do anything. I simply make sure that they are aware of what the consequences for their choices will be. So, and I tell them, I'm like, look, it's okay. This is English class. You don't have to pass this class. They're freshmen and sophomores. Just take it again next semester. And in fact, if you take it again next semester and you pass, then the following semester, you'll be back on track.
So it's up to you, kids.
Totally.
By the way, HB Hag, it's not role-playing I object to. It's role-playing games. Obviously, role-playing in the broad sense is completely fine. Acting is, of course, a form of role-playing. I have no problem with role-playing. I have a problem with role-playing games. I have a problem with the gamification of it. Or, as I like to call it, the taking all of the possible fun out of it.
So it's interesting because when we're doing the Ensign vlog, and someone else, does something that changes the narrative, that's okay. But
yeah, that's improv. You just roll with it. Nobody has to throw any fucking dice. Nobody has to, change any fucking character stats or whatever the fuck. It's just, no, we go with it. We go with it because it's a collaborative group and we're doing something. We're not playing a game. We're doing something creative and we're creating a podcast in our case that will be shown to the world as, as hopefully something entertaining.
So when a person changes things, that's okay. But when the situation is changed by a mechanic, that's not okay.
Something that Den of Geek just said kind of allows me to put it into focus. So your issue is not with the acting, it's when you add math rocks that causes you an issue. I refer to it as the blending of creativity with careful following of statistics. And I don't see how that makes the creativity any more fun. What if we added what if we added statistics to this? Wouldn't that make it better? No.
Because then success or failure is not completely up to you. You can affect it. You can increase or decrease your chances, but it's not up to you. And you don't.
Who cares? What about who gives a shit about success or failure? That's what I'm saying about the gamification. I don't care. I just care about telling a story. I don't give a shit if success or failure in the imaginary thing we're doing. Who gives a fuck? If I wanted to play Monopoly, I'd play Monopoly.
Yeah, but
if I want to act, if I want to create, a story, that's what I'll do.
The success or failure of the characters matters to the story. If you have characters who are always successful, it's boring. If you have characters that are always failing, then it's depressing.
Well, that's where the creativity comes in. The actual creativity of the actual people involved.
You still have to be.
Go ahead.
You still have to be creative in you know, you have this, you cannot prepare for every eventuality. So you have some uncertainty thrown in, you have to adapt to it and use that to tell a good story.
Well, I would say in an improv situation, the uncertainty is in the fact that you have other people who are, who come with their own ideas
Mm-hmm.
and are, I mean, I don't need to explain it to you. You've done it for years with us. And, sometimes you have an idea that you want to do, and then someone else adds something before you can get your idea in, and you either just drop your idea completely and go along with theirs, or you find a new way to work yours in, or I mean, that's the uncertainty. And also, not all creativity is an improv group. When I'm writing a story, it goes however the fuck I want it to go. Like for me as the writer, I don't want there to be any uncertainty. Like I want there to possibly be uncertainty or tension if there's going to be an audience and they're reading it or watching it or whatever. But for me as the writer, I don't want any uncertainty. I want to know what the fuck's going to happen because I need to make it up, So yeah. Anyway.
So basically what we're saying is you're a control freak.
Well, I mean, if I'm working in a non-collaborative art form, then yes, I am. If I'm working in a collaborative art form, then no, I'm not. I don't think I am. But anyway, let's watch this episode. Oh, sorry. I waited until you took a bite.
Go ahead. You explain since I'm chewing.
Okay, so here's how this works. Since I foolishly said let's watch the episode right when Dana took a bite of pizza.
Pizza!
So the way this works is in a moment, I will give us all a countdown. I'll say 3, 2, 1, play, and we all hit play when I say play. And we're all going to be watching Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 24, Empok Nor. So go ahead and have that queued up and ready to go, paused at 000 at the very beginning. And when I say 3, 2, 1, play, we'll all hit play. And if you have to step away or pause the stream or you get interrupted in some way, the time code right over our heads there is going to show the position in the episode that we're at. So you can use that to sync yourself up. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because we're not, as Dana often says, we're not doing a sing-along. But as long as you're more or less where we are, then, we're watching together. And if we do happen to comment on something that's happening on screen, you'll know what we're talking about. So, Dana.
Well, I got my cursor in the right spot. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Here we go. I'll count us in and we'll all watch Empok Nor. Here we go. Let me start my timer. In 3, 2, 1, play. Snake Big Cat. See, that's how it's done. Throwing those rhymes.
Aw. Sucks to be you, dude.
Quieter than that, Caitlin.
Uh-oh. Why?
Because plot.
Oh, there's a joke there.
The Cardassians pulled out. They always pull out too late.
Booby trap.
Boop. Booby trap. The waste extraction system must suck. Possibly dying on an abandoned space station beats working on the waste extraction system. Just loading up some disposable characters here.
Woohoo! Cadet, shut your mouth. Very well, Chief.
Don't call me Sugar. It's like that that scene in Superman 2 when Lex is at the Daily Planet and Jimmy comes walking in with a cup of coffee for Mr. White, and Lex just takes it, and Jimmy goes, "Hey, that coffee's for the Chief," and Lex goes, "The Chief's got it." Empire Jeff. Yeah, it's about time, right? I've only been doing this for 15 years.
Kara, we're a little bit past that. We're in the, excuse me, opening credits.
Yeah. Azalea says, "How many red shirts are we going to lose today?" You know, I can't remember how many of them die in this episode, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't all make it back. Azalea, I remember that. They're playing Hershey's Kisses chess.
Science talk, science talk, science talk.
But if I had time to indulge it, that would be okay, right? Oh, by the way, Brooke, thank you very much for mentioning me and Sean from Trek Culture trading shoutouts. Sean's really cool. I like him a lot.
Command to slow, sir.
Well, after you. We're not going to fight you. Yeah, Philip, and it's a nice. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but it's a really nice, subtle visual cue. You know. They sure are, Mister I Love the Ants. That's the whole. I'm sure that's the whole point of doing this episode, that they could send them to a different place while not having to build any new sets.
Money, 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 money.
It's a really a neat twist on the idea of a bottle episode, because it is technically a bottle episode, even though most of it takes place at supposedly a completely different location than the main.
Totally
location.
Different bottle.
Yeah.
Caitlin. Good little nerd fact there. Dun, dun, dun. That would be bad.
If you see something,
say something.
Say something. Like, for instance, ah!
Oh God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't like it. Acting or not acting?
Oh, David C. Drake, that's good. If you scan something, plan something. Nice.
It rhymes instead of alliterating. And you're touching it with your bare hands. Great.
Well, he didn't know it was there at first. He just kind of,
Found out.
Yeah.
I found a trap.
Garrick is having the most fun he's had since he matched wits with Federation Admiral Harry Callahan. Can you imagine Dirty Harry as an admiral? Actually, he would be a good admiral, wouldn't he? Could take off his comm badge and throw it in the harbor at the end of the movie.
See, Liz, you can't be prepared for every eventuality.
Thank you, doctor.
Uh-oh.
He can add it to his Nazi memorabilia collection, as Azalea pointed out. All right, let me just turn off these bug zappers and we'll be in business.
Now I've got Lust for Life running through my head. Snake Pit Cat, good one. I've got a little surprise for you. I bet he makes it back.
Well, that's not good. That's not right. Very good, Nog. You'll be a fine officer someday. Our ship is floating away. Dun. That's not right.
Somewhere out there.
Thanks, Ensign Smarmy.
Caitlin, I say we keep that, and that's the name for him from now on.
Sweaty Garage.
Oh my gosh, what's with my brain? Sending out an SOS. How much are you going to suffer this episode?
Notice how O'Brien is very smartly taking the established characters with him. He's loading up on plot armor.
There we go. Well, isn't that the reason? You just gave it. I mean, it's a stupid reason, but...
He's playing soldier. Isn't that cute?
Does the rolling help? Where's your gun? Dun, dun, dun! Ominous music.
David C. Drake, that's perfect. David Corridon says if Miles split up the main characters, the other groups would have better odds of surviving. Well, yeah, but if you leave the other groups vulnerable, then hopefully the killers will go after them.
Chance of surviving.
because not only will they take out those characters first, but they'll be all tired out by the time they get to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead. I did that.
Yeah, I did it just to mess with you in this very real life or death situation.
Seemed like a good time for a prank.
I just thought I would lighten the mood a bit with some good-natured pranking.
Funsies.
I can't read lips.
Didn't you learn that in the academy? Mommy, I'm scared. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be it's really intense. I will say I don't like jump scares. I don't scare, but I do startle. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Was that you? Whoops. Azalea, I think that's where they sent two of the red shirts to turn the generator back on so they can turn on the lights. Well, at least there'll be more room on the way back.
I know, it's kind of tight. I can put my feet up.
Lots more room.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't want to stay focused. I want to stay alive. Finish him.
Liz, I love the idea that they never bring like rubber gloves, but they always bring corpse covering sheets as standard equipment. What do you folks at home think?
Oh, too late for that. Ah.
No, I'm overcoming my racism. I'm more like a late series Sipowicz now. Garrick's gonna kill him good, sir. And Azalea, yeah, that's one of those like just don't think about it too hard things. It is if you do think about it, it's a little ridiculous that this incredibly important mission that takes them to a booby trapped killer space station. They sent like 6 people.
Hey, there's a lot going on.
They're busy.
Their own space station. I will have you know.
They're busy.
Busy. Well, it's certainly nice that he's telling us what's going on because it's kind of dark in there. No, Kara, they got it when the men died. You know, it's due to the regret, you know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
It's been a long time since I've killed. I missed it. Well, for our side, yeah. So it's like how they gave soldiers speed in World War II, only it makes them racist.
Well, we wouldn't want you to feel bad, Garrick. No, Kara, it was an attempt. Kara was an attempt at a pun. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's where they got
it. Woulda. Darth Eddie, yeah. Andrew Robinson is almost always good at anything, especially if you give him some scenery to chew. And they always give Garrick plenty of that.
Dun, dun, dun. And yet I've outlived her. Shouldn't, you know, I'm sure I'll be just fine. Caitlin, I was thinking that the explanation is it makes them, aggressive towards anyone who isn't themselves.
How you doing?
Why'd you wait so long? I never liked that other guy. Too bad the Cardassian got him. You won't say anything, will you?
Still stabs pretty good, though.
Dun, dun, dun!
Now Garrick's got a taste for blood and he can't be sated.
Snake Bit Cat, I think it was a little soon.
Are you guys dead? God damn it. Now I'll never live out my dream of being Robert Picardo's stunt double. Dead.
He was just really mad that, you're supposed to be helping the engineers and you can't even get your tools right. Jeez. Really frustrated. Nothing makes sense anymore.
Stabbing is uncurable, Astro Wolf. That is true. Why would Garage do this? I love that. Why would Garage do this? You can barely reason with Garrick when he's not high on a murder drug. Rambo Brian.
Ah.
David C. Drake, that's cheeky. Oh, he must be hungry, poor little doggy.
Ah.
Nice knowing you, Nog. Good thing this is one of those situations where, you know, to make things as dramatic as possible, the killer all of a sudden arbitrarily decides not to kill somebody.
Yep. He's the one who doesn't die to show that the situation is really serious.
Exactly. Too many to keep count of.
Darth Eddie, I can't believe you caught me monologuing.
Well, it's macabre, but creative.
I mean, when I die, I'd like to be used as a Christmas decoration.
Yeah, it's, you know.
Garlands are festive.
Oh, thanks, Caitlin. I'll fix it. Yeah, I just saw.
Fix the widget.
There we go. Oh, web. Oh, I see.
Whoopsie daisy. No, you. Caitlin, what happened to 255 AD?
I remember a couple of live streams ago, he told us he's having like a liver issue.
Oh.
Yeah. I've always wanted to beat an Irishman's ass. Oh, he's using Cardassian foo.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't feel so good.
All right, I'm just going to go slit Garrick's throat to be sure. I'll be back.
I mean, or for funsies. Maybe both.
Azalea, yeah, it is like a little bit like MacGyver, yeah. Except MacGyver would have had a voiceover to explain to us what he was doing. I just fucked him up. Now back to the right side up station. Azalea, right? Yeah. Well, who would he who would he be mad at? Oh, thank God. Damn, the chat bot went out again. Or the chat widget.
Ooh.
I was trying to kill you, dude. The end.
Yay!
So, what did you think of that episode? After all that thought.
Well, I was trying to find something else to say, but nope.
I get you.
I mean, it pretty much plays through just straight. There's not really any surprises.
Yeah, I mean, the only twist is when Garrick, goes all murder happy on the people on his side, but yeah.
I guess it more of a slight bend than really a full twist.
Yeah, because it's kind of telegraphed. Like by the time Garrick stabs the guy, you're sort of waiting for it to happen because they show you that Garrick is acting weird and he's, scratching himself. And you're like, okay, there's a shoe that needs to drop here somehow.
Oh, by the way, it's booby traps. Hey, look, some of this weird biological chemical got on my bare skin. Yeah. Huh. Well, okay, let's move on
back
with
to
the
work.
Story. Do. So,
yeah. I mean, I have to say I enjoy it more for its technical qualities than really for the story itself.
What technical qualities? I missed something.
Well, I mean, the lighting, the sort of the atmospherics. I think it's a really well directed episode. I really like the lighting. I really like the dim lighting on the sets. And someone in the chat earlier mentioned, like, it's amazing how just changing the lighting and a few different camera angles can really, even though it's literally the same sets that they shoot on every other episode, but it does make it feel like it's a different place.
That might make more of a difference if I was really familiar with the set, but like it's like floors and panels and stuff to me. I'm like, okay, sure. They're in a room. There's stuff around.
Yeah.
If you told me that they had borrowed a set from thus and such other science fiction show, so it looked completely different, I would have been like, oh, okay. Sure. I would not know.
I mean, also to me, it's cool because TV, especially TV back when this episode was produced, like, most TV shows, whether they were single camera dramas like this one, or whether they were like multi-camera, like sitcoms, the lighting was always very even, very flat, I mean, you watch like Star Trek, even most other episodes of Deep Space Nine, the lighting on Deep Space Nine was a little bit more creative than it was on TNG, but even Deep Space Nine, things are mostly lit pretty flat. So to see an episode like this where they're not just allowed to get a little more creative with the lighting, but the premise demands that,
yeah, exactly.
It's just neat to see, and you see like some of the shot in the hallway before Garrick stabs the bald guy, when he's like down on his knees going through the toolbox looking for stuff, and he's kind of lit from behind, and it's not a full silhouette because you can still see him, from the front, but it's a little bit of a halo effect, just lighting treatments that you don't usually see in Deep Space Nine or in TV from this era, just in general. It's kind of neat. And the director of the episode, it was Mike Vehar, who was one of the more prolific TV directors of the 80s and 90s. He directed a lot of Star Treks. He directed a lot of Babylon 5. He directed some MacGyvers. He directed at least a couple episodes of pretty much everything. And he was especially well known as like the guy you would call if you did have like a really spooky or atmospheric episode. Like that's kind of what he excelled at. And I think he did a really good job here. So, I mean, in terms of the story, it's not like an all-time great, but
kind of like what Caitlin said, the buildup is, I forget how it was on first watch, but on repeat watches, the set dressing is fun. So like, it's almost like the story is almost dialed back to make it more possible to pay attention to all this other cool stuff that you did. Now the catch is, I didn't know that going in, so I'm like, okay, all right, they brought along a whole bunch of people that we don't know. Okay, well, at least some of them gonna die. I wonder if any of them gonna make it back. Apparently not. Okie dokie. I mean, it was very, and I was just like, it didn't occur to me to look at anything else, because I'm still not perfect. Like I know who the characters are.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot of scenery to it. Like even with Garrick, being like going, it didn't get into it as much as I was thinking he might. Didn't go on full Cisco enunciation there. So it didn't occur to me to think about the other stuff, but somebody who is a more regular and a true fan might have been encouraged by sort of the, not flatness, but the sort of more muted storyline and performances to pay attention to some of the other stuff. So I don't know. Anyway,
I like that we get a lot of O'Brien Garrick interaction, because those two characters don't really get thrown together very often. They're not like one of the established pairs in the show, but they have such a large cast that it's nice when they can find a reason to kind of take two characters that don't usually do a whole lot together and throw them together like that. Crag Raven has a good comment here. The dim lighting drives me nuts on modern Trek. I found Enterprise hard to watch. Don't they have decent lighting on starships? And then Darth Eddie mentioned also because Star Trek Enterprise was the first Star Trek show to be actually produced in the HD era. Its lighting is a little more dramatic, but even like especially the scenes that actually take place on the ship, it's still pretty even standard TV lighting, but they do get more creative on Enterprise when they're like supposedly on a planet or in another ship. Like it's not, it's a little more varied. But yeah, the current shows, the current shows are basically lit like movies, and it's very dramatic lighting, and I usually don't have a problem with it. For some reason that I still have never heard a good explanation of, the Picard series, all 3 seasons, I thought the lighting was just shit. I mean, you could tell that they had some good sets. Like, I mean, for all of the current Star Trek shows, whether the writing has been there or the other aspects of the production have been there or not, the set design has almost always been great. But with the Picard show, for some reason, like everything always seemed way too dark. And actually, this episode we just watched is a good example of how you can light things to be dark, but still light the important stuff enough that the audience can see what's going on, which is really important. It gives you the impression that the characters are in the dark, but the actual scene is not so dark that you can't see what's going on. The lighting in a lot of Picard episodes is so dark that the actual scene that you're watching on your screen is murky and you literally can't see what's going on. The other new Star Trek shows... Go ahead.
It's absolute hell. Hell is murky.
Hell is murky. Yes.
That's Lady Macbeth, everybody.
But yeah, it's because like the lighting on Strange New Worlds is usually fantastic, and it's much more sort of movie dramatic than like it was on TNG, you know what I mean? But it's lit, everything's lit well enough that whether the scene is supposed to be dark or not, you can tell what's going on. But there were scenes in I remember when me and Jason were watching Picard season 3 together because we were reviewing it, and we both, I think, laughed at the same time at one of the episodes where they go from the ship that they were on that is supposedly like functioning normally, where everything is fine, and they beam over to another ship where the power is off, and it looks exactly the same. Like the lighting level is the same. The lighting on the supposedly normal ship is so dim that when they beam over to the disabled ship, it's like, oh wait, how can you even tell?
Because the dialogue says so.
Yeah, but yeah, Darth Eddie, the Titan, which was the hero ship for Picard, season 3. Yeah, the lighting is terrible, and from what you can tell, like that, the sets look really good. Like the bridge of the Titan in Picard season 3 looks really cool, but you can barely see it. Yeah, but anyway, so
yeah.
do you? Oh, Caitlin says, I know. Caitlin says, I know the reason, Steve. One is digital cameras don't require leaving as much slack in lighting, so DPs can go dimmer more safely. Second, it's cheaper because there's less setup of lights. Yeah, I think that's probably it. When you're shooting on film, you have to light it very precisely. And if you're shooting on digital, and you have a lot more room in post to play with things.
You can fix it in post.
Yeah, and I think that that has, it's led to cost cutting and other things that So, but anyway, do you feel up to playing Wordmaster, or would you rather call it a night?
I do.
You do?
And we got I'm feeling pretty good today actually. Yay!
Good.
For once, it's about time.
So, to everybody watching, I'm going to show you in a moment the Wordmaster board. Wordmaster is basically Wordle, but it's not Wordle. And that's what we like to play at the end of the stream when we're feeling up to it. And the rules are just the same as Wordle. And the way this works is Dana is not actually seeing the Wordmaster board that we're going to be playing, but I will be describing it to her. And she will take the lead and decide what guesses we make and so forth. But if you would like to play along with us, we welcome your suggestions and guesses in the chat. So let us play Wordmaster. Here we go.
All right. It's been so long. Let's start with the typical one that I like to use, which is heart, H-E-A-R-T, and also appropriate for this month.
Indeed, the month of love, Valentine's Day. Okay, heart gives us an E, an A, and a T, but none in the right place.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's throw lions into the mix and see what happens.
Okay, our secondary starter word, lion. Lions gives us nothing.
Okay. All right.
Nothing.
So we had E, A, and T, correct?
E, A, and T, all in the wrong places. Yeah, no H, no R.
So it could be T, letter, E, A, something.
So it can't be. Yes, it could. Yes, it could.
It can't be tread because there's no R.
Right.
But something other than the R would work because we haven't checked D.
Right. But what else could go after T? Because we know there's no H.
I'm kind of thinking it through. And it could also be something A-T-E. Well, it can't be water either.
Right, yeah, because no R. Yeah.
Gated would work.
Gated, yeah.
Brooke, I love that. It's like tread, but if Elmer Fudd was saying it, twed.
Twed. Where angels fear to twed.
Don't twed on the booby twap.
Don't twed on me.
Yeah.
I voted for Twump. Don't twed on me.
Dated would also work.
Dated could work. Yeah, that's a good guess.
Bated breath.
Like bated breath, yeah. So there's some possibilities, assuming that it's something aided.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, David, we can't have TH because the H in heart says no. And no then H, faded would also work. So ATED would probably work pretty well.
Well, you want to try one and just make sure that that's it?
No, because we got a bunch of them. We got, let's see, baited, faded, dated, and gated. Mated would work. So I think ATED is probably a good guess. So I think if we can knock out some of those consonants, yes.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
So we've got M, B, F, G. Oh, yeah. Hate. No, we can't do hated because the H is out from heart. Good. Whew. Didn't need another one of those suckers. Yeah, I think we're good. I think that's so. So M, B, F, and G. Let's see if I can, what we can combine that. Oh, jaded too. Gosh, holy smokes. Man, I can't, I'm having trouble combining. I'd like to get 3 of these consonants in here, but I'm not coming up with much.
I know it's hard to come up with one word that you can.
Well, plume gets us P and M.
What about plum?
PLUMB? Yes, I like that. Let's go for that.
Plum. Yeah, that gives us, that'll take care of the P and the L. Well, we know
David,
no L,
that would be great, except Fogged has 6 letters. We only get 5.
So do you want me to try plum?
No, hang on.
Okay.
Because was it P? No, Liz, it does have to be a word to count as a guess. Did we say pated doesn't really work, does it? I think P I accidentally put in there. I don't think that one works. I don't think pated is a word.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we've got B, F, G, J, and M. B, F, G, J, M. Can we combine any of those? Flume would get us F and M. But fumed, well, no, we kind of know the D is probably at the end. Okay. G. Yeah, man, let's try fumed, I guess. F-U-M-E-D.
Fumed. Okay.
Oh, magic is good. It would give us G, but David, I don't think we need a C. We don't need a C. Let's go for fumed.
Fumed. F-U-M-E-D. There is a U. There's a twist.
Ooh, smokes. Okay, yeah. So we've got E, A, and U.
Yeah.
As
and the U and the U is in the wrong place, and the E is still in the wrong place as well. So we know that the E is not the second or the fourth
or the next to last
letter. Yes.
Okay, hang on. So
T-E-A-U in some fashion.
So A-U. So it's got to be something A-U-T. Something A-U-T-E. It was H-A-U-T-E. Oh, taupe. Yeah.
Ooh, that might be
that
something.
Would work.
Yeah, taupe is a good. Yeah, and I think that would work with the.
Yeah, because I think hope is not actually, that's like a name, but I don't think it's an English word.
Yeah, taupe is a good guess. Yeah.
I was thinking H-A-U-T-E, but I don't think that's actually an English word. I think it's a name, but I think it comes to us from maybe French.
Hot.
Okay.
So you want to try taupe?
Yep, I think that's a good guess. So thank you, Snake Bit Cat.
Yeah, let's go with taupe.
I hope you just came up with that. Come on, team
T-A-U-P-E, taupe. It's not taupe.
Okay.
But the U and the E are both in the right place, and there is no P.
Captain says acute. Acute would work.
Acute. You know what? That acute would fit. You want to try that?
Yes.
Acute. Let's try acute.
Caitlin, that's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know because I don't think
it is acute.
Yay! Go team us. Oh,
it's acute. You,
Captain. I'm so glad you were here. And yeah, H.E. Haga. Yep, we got acute. They made one just for me.
Acute.
Or maybe it was for you, Mr. Shives. Oh, you're so cute. Yay!
I'm more of a chronic case. You can't get rid of me.
So don't forget, on Friday, Steve will be back again.
Indeed.
On Valentine's Day.
That's true, yes.
So are you going to be changing the lighting to make it thematic?
Put like red lighting behind me.
Pink.
I don't think I have a pink light. I don't think I have a pink light. Actually, well I don't know. My variable light might do something like pink. I'll have to experiment.
So yeah. So that's going to be same time as, we would start this one 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you are a patron on Patreon or you are a member of the channel, you can send in a question that Steve will read on the air and answer, at least to the best of his ability. Yes. And then, we all kind of hang out and make fun of him. So it's a lot of fun.
I love the way you sell these live streams.
I know.
Steve will read whatever you say, and then we can make fun of him.
And don't forget, also, there's we get to watch a brand new episode of the Stuffy Short.
Stuffy and Friends, yeah.
Much fun. So yeah, and if you're just like, oh, I've missed out. No, it is not yet too late. You can still, there's a little doohickey button down there. You can click and you can become a channel member, or you can go to patreon.com/SteveShives and you can become a patron, and you too will have the opportunity to send in your demands for Steve. And then, of course, don't forget that next week, same time, we will be right back here. And instead of Deep Space Nine, we'll be watching another episode of Poirot. Woo! Which one are we watching next week, Steve?
Next week, we are watching The Case of the Missing Will.
Huh.
Does that
wonder what that one's about?
I would imagine. It's like the Sherlock Holmes story, the naval treaty. I'm thinking a naval treaty will come into play at some point. I didn't realize it was
that important.
Wars were fought over it, apparently.
Oh yeah. Anyway, also don't forget, you can check out, there's some links down in the description, I believe, yes, for indeed. Organizations that provide help for various factions. And additionally, we have charitylinks.page, which is a curated list of some friends and associates of ours who could use some financial help. So if you have the wherewithal to do so, helping people is good. So don't forget about that.
Is.
Especially these days. I mean, it feels like things kind of suck. I mean, for me, last week or so has been pretty good. Don't want to jinx it. But yeah, it's been kind of a downer for a bit. So helping people out is a great way to sort of have a little pick-me-up. And then, yeah, other than that, see you on Friday. See you next week on Wednesday. And hey, stick around. You never know what's going to happen. And we don't even have any dice to randomize things. We just make it up.
Bringing it full circle from my D&D griping at the beginning.
So, would if I brought a D20 next week, would you just like cut the stream?
I mean, no, I wouldn't cut this. I wouldn't sacrifice the entire show for that. But
would you mute me or like cut off my camera? I don't know. Can you do that? I don't know if that works.
Oh, I can. Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think I can.
You're the one who does all the stuff. I don't know.
I know I can mute you on the Zoom, and obviously I can mute you on the live stream. Even if I couldn't have that degree of control in the Zoom, I could just I could stop. I'd still have to listen to you, but I could stop everybody else. No, I can mute you. I don't think I can force you to turn your camera off, but I can mute you.
This is not that difficult. See,
that's right. I can
no
just
idea
do this.
What you're saying. You're just blah blah blah. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming and spending some time with us. The episode was all right, but you know, hanging out with y'all, that's what makes it cool.
Yeah. See you next. Yeah. I'll see you on Friday, and then we'll both see you next week for Poirot.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.